Welcome to Rich Conversations. This is another session of our Rich Reflections where we're going to take about 30 to 45 minutes out of our day to simply just think more intentionally about our own life. And we're going to start this session how we do every session, and that's 5 minutes of breathing. We're just going to get right into it. So I'm going to set a timer for 5 minutes. And what we're going to do is simply just sit in silence and breathe. Really, the hardest thing to do in this ever-changing, ever-increasingly complex world we live in. Simplicity stands out. 5 minutes. And just breathe in and breathe out. If thoughts come to mind, just simply let them pass. They're not important right now. We just want to focus on the breath. If it helps, count. Otherwise, think in and out. Or just simply breathe. All right. So that was 5 minutes of breathing. Gosh, I was like yawning. I was like fighting these yawns the whole time. Use my ascot to wipe away my tears. See? Awfully convenient. Okay, so that was 5 minutes of breathing. And here we are, beginning our session, and we're going to start with the question, what are we grateful for? Question and answer. Gosh, that was a hard like 5 minutes for me. It's I'm recording this at night, and I've had a long day. It's just been a long day. I'm tired. But I've been looking forward to this. Got a glass of wine. It's going to be a perfect way to wind the night down. Oh, yeah. This is great. This is a different wine than I've had before. It's a Pinot Noir from France, of course. And yeah, what are we grateful for? It's been a long day for me. That doesn't mean bad at all. It's just that it's I got up really early and it's late now, and I did a lot of things in between then. It actually was a phenomenal day. Yesterday was even more phenomenal. It was spectacular. Snow day. Snow day, we got about like 4 to 7 inches of snow. And I'm here in the farmhouse studio, and it's just the snow's coming down, and it's warm in here. We got the furnace going, got a space heater, and I just worked on The Gate of Clouds. I'm revising the novel. It's written, it's around like 73,000 words, and I'm just going through revisions, and I'm in between a third completed and like 40%, somewhere within there. But it's different, I would say, because I do enjoy it, but I'm also like, let's go. Let's put this baby out. Let's get it to the next editing phases. Get it out of my hands. So that's something I'm grateful for, is like a snow day where I can just like, I'm just going to do what I want during this time. It's cozy. Oh, it was perfect. I ran around the yard in the snow with just pants, a t-shirt, and socks. And it was so much fun. It was so much fun. I just ran around the yard. And I made a snow angel. And then after I did the snow angel, almost immediately when I did the snow angel, I was so cold, because it was touching my bare skin, and it was like, whoa, on the ground in the snow. Yeah, it got cold. And it was like 20-some degrees. Yeah, it's been cold, but I've really looked forward to it yesterday for a long while. So what's something like that for you, where you have a license to basically spend the day however you want? Oftentimes it's our birthday or something like that, where it's like, I'm going to do what I want to do, and I'm going to spend this day how I want to spend it. Maybe we should live more like that. If it was your last day on earth, how would you spend it? And yesterday I spent it just fabulously. Right after that, the snow angel, I came inside, took a hot Epsom salt bath, lit some candles. I mean, the candles were lit all day. We had incense and candles going all day, baby. It was phenomenal. The snow's coming down. That is when I appreciate winter. You know, what's a day where you just like spend it how you want? Yeah. All right. Yeah, this Rich Reflections is I don't know. I'm tired, drinking wine, might go off the rails if it hasn't already. Wow, this wine is really good. It's like notably wonderful. It makes me like, oh, you know. It's a little different than what I'm used to. I don't drink a lot of Pinot Noirs. Tomorrow's Valentine's Day. What's your Valentine's Day going to be like? What's your situation? Are you in love? Are you looking for love? Are you doing your own thing? Like what is romantically, where are you at? I'm going to Chicago tomorrow. Having a work session with my creative partner, Ken Ferguson, illustrator of Millie Moves to the Farm and The Boy in the Rocket Ship, and some other goodies we have coming up. Then I'm meeting up with one of my advisors, and we do happy hours. We go to different happy hours at bars around the Loop in Chicago, and we're going tomorrow. The plan is to go to this one called The Exchange. It's in the old railway exchange building, built in the late 1800s. It's cool. It's beautiful, fanciful. But we like going to these happy hours. It's a great opportunity to get together, and you know, in just like this kind of window of the day. You're not committed your whole night to anything or, you know, day. It's just like these few hours we're gonna catch up and real casual, have a few drinks. I'm gonna get some I was looking at the happy hour menu, some house red wine. Been really on a wine kick lately. So what's something you like to do as kind of a tradition with friends? Is there something you like to do? I think that's a healthy thing. To have sort of traditions or things we do with friends. We were just talking about Valentine's Day and romantically, how quickly I just breezed through that question. But that opportunity to talk about Valentine's Day and relationships and things like that. To talk about creative endeavors. And I like to me, that's what thrills me. That's what energizes me is my creative endeavors and the pursuit of putting ideas out into the world like that. I've been reflecting on it more recently. It has, until this point, motivated me more than romantic relationships. You got to have someone who's in line with your vision in life. I've been thinking more about this with Valentine's Day. Yeah. Actually, there's a scene in The Gate of Clouds where these 5 characters are in Miami at a wine bar and outdoor patio in Midtown Miami, and real beautiful, like brick ground, like kind of like cobblestone, and these old like vintage furniture and vintage mirrors and like tropical plants, outside. People are drinking wine, and we're talking about dating apps and dating culture. And 2 guys, 3 women, and the conversation is about dating. Online dating comes up. Who has it worse? The girls simultaneously go, "We do." And the guys are like, "Oh." And one character uses dating apps for market research. Another one married someone he met in like 3 months. One broke up with her boyfriend because they're cross hemispheres. So her ex played for Real Madrid soccer club, but she lives in New York. And so this other character has a theory that geography doesn't matter in terms of dating, but cross hemispheres is an issue. Just because we're still biological creatures and we have circadian rhythms and daily activities, and if someone's always 6 hours ahead or 7 or 8 or 13, it makes just everything more difficult. So you have to kind of choose. But if you're in the same hemisphere, a lot of times, I'm thinking the Americas, I'm very pro-Western hemisphere, you're kind of in line. You're within like 3 hours here and there, which is much more manageable, even if, someone's in New York and someone's in Buenos Aires. They're still lined up, even though they're so geographically far apart, so hemispheres. So that's the theory he has. Another woman, she's out like saving the world. She's like this phenomenal human being solving the climate change crisis. And she has a hard time finding guys on her level, right? And so her selection is few, and so she has trouble dating that way. And as like a champion of a human being, dating apps are just not they're just not going to be up to par, I would imagine, or I don't know. So that was the discussion. Anyways, Valentine's Day. Just looking at all these flowers. I love all the flowers. What I like to do is wait the day after Valentine's Day, when the cost of the flowers just drop. Any time of the year, like dark red roses, I think are fabulous. I guess let's just take some time to note, what are your thoughts on current dating culture in terms of society? Like, is everything okay? Are things great because you can meet anyone, anywhere? Like, there's so much connection? Or do you think that there's a struggle for people to find companionship and someone with the shared vision? What are your thoughts? And this is why this what we're doing is so fun to do, because we can look back 10 years from now and look at our answers for what do we think about the dating culture today? No, I'm a champion of, it all comes down to this like shared vision. And can two people become one in that vision? You know, creating your own vision of how you want to live life. You know, time is limited, time is short, love is real. So our resources, everything is limited, you know, the stakes are high. So it's absolutely vital that you're in lockstep with each other on that vision, because it makes all the other decisions so much easier. And I think that's the most important thing when dating. You know, you want to build a life together, like one life together. And you got to be going in the same direction. So not only, and this is why it's important to do stuff like this, is so that you know how you want to live your life. So you have that vision. Because if you don't have a vision, you might always be uncertain about another person because you're uncertain of yourself in a way. So you want to get clear, and this is why we do this stuff. We just want to think more intentionally, more pointed about our lives and who we are. Because when we do, like, everything is just so much easier. Like, life has a lot going on. You don't want to make things harder on yourself by just mindlessly going through life. Yeah. Now, with this weather, I've been hit or miss on winter. I'm here in rural Wisconsin in the farmhouse studio, and I don't mind the cold if there's snow on the ground, because then I feel a little bit, I don't know, I just feel I feel like, you know, as a writer, I feel like cocooned or insulated and like motivated, inspired even to like work inside. But when it's just cold and there's no snow, I just feel it's more depressing. Life might be a little easier as far as getting around and doing things, but I like the snow. I really love the snow personally. And so it was just magical. It was just magical yesterday. But there were times last week, about a week ago, I was just off. And, you know, I go through the steps of like, okay, why is that? Well, Is it this? No, it's not quite that. Is it this? No. And it's like, it's just cold. It's like 15 degrees. And I was just like sick of this. So I booked a trip to Mexico City, and I'll be in Mexico City at the end of March. And now everything's just like aligning. Now I got more energy. I'm ready to go now. Last time I was in Mexico City, it was 2 years ago, and it was 80s and sunny every day. And I was just living in glory. So now the cold is so much more tolerable. And I think that's important, to have things to look forward to. So my question to you is, like, what's something that right now you are looking forward to? For me, it creates a sort of a deadline, so that I need to get everything together, figure out, like, what do I want to happen? What do I want to do before this trip? That's in, say, a little less than 2 months. Okay, if we want to do that, then what are the steps? Like, it's breaking everything down into more manageable steps. And it just like creates, everything just sort of just focuses together. And it's really great. The last week has been pretty good. I would say something I've been struggling with is just like focus and like where I give my attention. And that comes down to like being present. I would say it's gotten much better over the last week or so, but like in the mornings, usually that's when I like get the most, I squeeze the most juice out of the fruit that I have. That's the best time for me to create and do things. But lately it's just been like scatterbrained, and there's all these things I want to work on, but I don't quite commit or pick one to focus my attention on, because if I do that, then this thing doesn't get done over here, or this one over here, or I'm not working on that thing, and that's what I want to do. So I've been, over the last week or so, kind of reining that in, and I would say that booking the trips helps. And I grabbed this book, actually, in my library, from my library here in the studio, called Be Here Now. And everything is great. Everything is great. I've been reading it over the last like maybe 4 days, and it's different than what you'd normally, how you normally read. So you open it up and then you flip it vertically and you read it like that, kind of like a old manuscript, right? And this is the second time that I'm reading this book, Be Here Now. The first time I read it, I was just so calm. I opened it up and I forget, it was like a Friday night. And I was just in my living room, some candles, some incense, some low lighting. And I sat there and read it for 3 hours. I read half the book in one sitting, and then the next day I read the rest of it. And it has the same effect this time as it did last time, in that I feel so calm. All it is just truth. It's just like, just truth. Like an injection of truth. So what's a book? My alarm's going off. Oh, what is that for? Oh, it's a reminder for something I already completed. Way to go. What's a book that when we read it, we feel calm? I first learned about this book from Steve Jobs. Steve had this listed as one of his favorite books. I want to say like top 5 or 10 influential books. It's interesting. I'm not necessarily influenced by Steve Jobs, but I'm influenced by the books that Steve Jobs was influenced by. So like indirectly, it's very indirect. But this one was good. I brought it to the second day that I was reading this, I brought it to the Art Institute of Chicago, and I was sitting in the Impressionist room on a bench, and I just read the rest of it. And at one point, this high school kid came up to me, and she asked what I was reading, and I showed it to her. If anybody sees this book, they're going to think it's like so wild. It looks like witchcraft or, I don't know, some type of weird voodoo stuff. And I sort of regret just like not giving it to her. Like I should have just like gave it to her. Like, hey, you want this? Go have it. I want to get to that point with my books where I'm not attached like that. Like I'm just like, if someone wants to read a book, like here. The thought just didn't occur to me. And now I'm reading again. A lot of it like helps. Helps like recenter and calm me. I'll read some of it. Let's see. What calming the mind is all about, what meditation is for, is to cool you out so you remember, so you see how it all is. Try sitting around when you're full of self-pity. You sit down in front of your puja table and you take a picture of Mahe Baba, and he's smiling at you like this, and the other Marx brother, and he's saying, "Let me help you. Oh, I wish you would, Maher Baba." Wow. Dig that self-pity. Isn't that exquisite? It's so hard. Full-blown, what an extraordinary color. It must be a brand new of self-pity. A particularly fragrant variety. I just really want to smell that one. To sit and smell it for ever so long. Such a good one. I wish I could have time to groove with you, but I've got to get on with life. I have important things to do today. All right, Baba, I'll sit here with you for 1 minute, okay? Here we are. You've got 1 minute. Do your thing. 40 seconds left. I don't know if that was a good example. Lame, halt, blind, dying. We're all dying. At this moment, your body is before you. Your body is disintegrating before your very eyes. If you've taken LSD, you may be seeing it do this, but you know it's happening anyway. It's all a downhill trip, all the way. Boy, what a funny place to get attached to something that's got to go like that. So Buddha says, the cause of suffering is attachment or desire. They all say the same thing. The third noble truth. Give up attachment. Give up desire. You end the births. You end the deaths. You end the suffering. You end the whole thing that keeps you stuck. If I'm not attached to this particular time, space, locus, then I can free my awareness from my body and I can become one with it all. I can emerge with the Divine Mother. It's about awareness, being present, allowing your mind to detach from all these other thoughts that we have and just be here. Experience this moment. Be here now. Anyways, I've been really into books lately. Publishing, public domain, copyrights. Yeah, I've been thinking about generations too. What I'm thinking just doesn't make sense, or I at this very moment, here in the now, I just can't really communicate this thought in a way that will make sense. So I'm not going to try. I've been thinking about the concept of nothing and everything. The duality of it, and the usefulness of it. I use it in the Nuance and Notes series. I was writing about it with this Los Angeles one that I'm going to release. And it came up. It's just so beautiful. Nothing and everything. I first was familiar with it. I went to Miami a few years ago, and I brought this book, Nothing and Everything, the influence of Eastern religion on American avant-garde art from 1942 to 1962. And a great example of this is like John Cage. He's a pianist, composer, and he had this really notable piece, and a lot of the meaning derived from the silence. When we think of music, we're always thinking about the notes played of the instrument, but he believed that the silence was just as meaningful as the sounds from instruments. and it gives even more meaning to those. And so you can apply that to different aspects of life. And in this book, Be Here Now, and just being more present, that idea of nothing and everything, it's just so magical. And then last night, so I borrowed the DVDs from the library of Mad Men, Season 1, Episode 1. The phrase, nothing and everything, comes up. And I thought it was just so serendipitous of the thoughts that I've been having. And it's cool to kind of see these different signs or these threads. You know, you pull one over here, but then this is offered to you over here, and you pull it there, and they're all kind of intertwined. All the threads are intertwined. Like it's one big grand something. So what is something like that? Like a sign or something that happened that just made you pause and just think a little bit more and like kind of smile, whether it's physically or within your mind, of just like, wow, it's interesting. Like I was listening to this song this morning, and now at this random store that I'm at, walking around, this song comes on. It's crazy. I had a really vivid moment like that in Paris. I was walking around listening to Everything She Wants by Wham in my headphones, like on repeat, on this one playlist called Let's Play a Love Game. A lot of Lady Gaga and Wham. And so I'm walking the streets of Paris listening to these songs, and I stop in a cafe for a little break. And then they have a TV there, and the music video for Everything She Wants came on. And it's just like, wow. It's crazy, you know? So a moment like that, like something really personal and beautiful, and makes you think of something larger. Gosh, that wine is really tasty. Yeah, I'd like taking time to reflect on almost like taking inventory of life, but not specifically, more vaguely. You know, if you're taking inventory, you're checking every single item, right? I don't mean that. I mean just like checking in with life and seeing, okay, where are we at now? Where were we 4 months ago? And where are we going to be 4 months from now, or even a year from now? Appreciating this moment of the journey. You know, remove yourself from it so that you're able to evaluate, and not even evaluate, but appreciate it for what it is. It's like this part of the journey, and that's special. So how would you go about doing that in your own life? Doing intentional reflection to check in with where you're at on your journey. All right, we're going to close out this Rich Reflections session with the question that we always conclude on, and that is, what are we energized for in the next week? What are we energized for in the next week? And again, we even did it further out. Yeah, I appreciate you being here. It's meaningful to have like other people to connect with and share this with, and know how important that this is. Or at least maybe even if we don't know, like we believe that we will know. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like much on the surface, doing something like this. And, you know, a lot of the stuff we do, you don't get immediate answers. You don't get immediate results. But through time and reflection, you see how all the effort added up. And it's just so magical. It's so fulfilling. It's so rewarding. It's better than like anything. And life becomes this big, not game. Journey is a word that we've used. Journey is a little overused. Game is a little overused too. I don't know. Everything has been said already. You know what I mean? Same thing with like a lot of like self-improvement stuff. It's like, or philosophy. It's just like everything's there. You just got to like find it and then put it together for yourself and apply it. Like the truth is always there. There's not like something new that we're going to discover as humans within our lifetimes. You know what I mean? And oftentimes we think we're so much smarter than everybody that came before us, or I don't know. But I appreciate you being here, taking time out of your day to give more time to yourself, so that in the future you can be where you want to be, who you want to be, and spend time with who you want to spend time with. It's incredible. So thank you again. Inspire the future.